Sorry if there's dogs in the background. We got our dogs out right now. But Mike Bobo just got fired yesterday.
Yeah.
It could hurt recruiting. I hope it doesn't, but now we got to look forward to the future and see who's the next option.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football.
What's up, kinfolk? As Bubba said, Mike Bobo's been fired. We're in the search for a new offensive coordinator. This name, I really don't know a whole lot about this guy. He was head coach, who was offensive coordinator at Utah State, and he got promoted to head coach, and then took the Texas Tech job.
This is the guy
got fired after a 5-3 start.
The team was nowhere near a 5-3 start on the field. You know, they were squeaking out wins somehow. But they were terrible. The offense was terrible, and I do not want this guy at all in any way. I think he would be a terrible hire. And like we were talking earlier, I don't like hiring former failed head coaches.
Yeah, but Matt Wells is third on my list. And the reason he's third on my list is I do believe that Coach Harsin is going to hire somebody that he know and trust. And he had invited Matt Wells to the Ole Miss game earlier this year as his guest.
Yeah. I don't.
There's normally where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, he's really hasn't showed much in recruiting. He's never been in a successful program, to be honest. And he'd just be a terrible hire. I do not like his offensive scheme. He got lucky, and he got one of the most talented quarterbacks in college football in Jordan Love, and his offensive scheme worked there. Then he went to Texas Tech, a team that hasn't had any sort of success since Mike Leach left, and he could not keep any sort of success going there.
Yeah. I mean, Texas Tech had some success at times. It was spotty with the current head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, he was under 500 when he was there too.
Yeah.
But, you know, my third option, I think, is pretty simple. Promoting Eric Kiesau. Now, I don't necessarily like this hire either. I don't. The offense took a dip when he took over play calling duties when he was there. But Eric Kiesau's had a good amount of success as a receivers coach. And I think that's a great spot for him. He's a solid recruiter, and he's had a lot of success developing wide receivers. As a play caller, hold up. Well, I guess I don't have it on here, but as a play caller, he hasn't had much success. I mean, the offense took a major dip when Zach Hill left and they promoted Eric Kiesau there. And he's a younger coach. He's under 50. And I think he'd be okay, and it would be more of a Harsin. It'd be like Rhett Lashley or Kenny Dillingham along with Gus Malzahn. You know, it's kind of like a teamwork thing to call plays.
I believe he had a top 30 offense with an injured quarterback.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was an okay offense, but after Zach Hill left, you could tell, I mean, the running game was struggling and the passing game was struggling, and it's just the production took a major dip. And it was his first year ever calling plays. And I don't think he had ever been an OC before that. I'll have to go check on that, but I don't think so.
I do not know how he is recruiting-wise.
Yeah, he's been recruiting, and I think he was okay, and him and Bobo were working together to go get Antonio Williams. And now it's looking like we have no shot, especially after I heard today that his mom was like, yeah, I don't know where this leaves us, because Mike Bobo was huge for us in recruiting.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the product on the field just wasn't good enough, and it wasn't worth keeping him.
You got to make decisions. You got to stand by and be a man. I'm right there with him.
Yep.
If he didn't like it, move on from it.
Yeah, and I think Harsin's doing a great job of taking charge and not being scared to make moves, even though he's had some very bad decision-making in his first year at Auburn at times. But Eric Kiesau, I had to put him on here. Promoting Eric Kiesau, he's obviously an option.
Yeah.
He was hired onto the staff, and he's working his way up through it now. Who's your next option? Number 2 option.
All right, Jeff Grimes. It's my number 2 option. I don't think he has any connections to Brian Harsin. But this falls under the dream category. I could have went Jeff Lebby. I could have went Kendall Briles. This is a dream kid.
But this was my first option, but I'll go ahead and break him down. All right. He's shown the ability to be a very good recruiter in the SEC with Auburn and LSU. He's bringing in a lot of top level guys, and that's the kind of thing that we need.
Right.
And that was back then. We were really good in recruiting back then. And he was an Auburn offensive line coach, and he was a O-line coach and offensive running game coordinator at LSU. And the biggest thing is, he took that Baylor offense from terrible, worst in the Big 12, to best in the Big 12 this past year. All right.
That's what I was going to say. That Baylor offense is prolific.
Mm-hmm.
It is virtually unstoppable in the Big 12. Now, I don't know what it would do at Auburn with going up against teams like Alabama, Georgia, LSU, with these defenses that are top 20 in the nation. I'm not saying LSU's defense top 20 this year, but they're up there.
Yeah. And he drastically improved Gary Bohannon, and he led the Big 12 in yards per game. And Jeff Grimes, perfect option for us. He's the guy I really want, and he's my top option.
The guy I really want is at Ole Miss right now. But, it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I think we could get Jeff Grimes. I don't know if we could pull Levy from Lane.
And the big thing is Levy's offense and Harson's offense look nothing alike.
Yeah.
It's kind of just they're looking at the numbers and like, oh my God, this offense is insane. No.
Yeah.
Jeff Grimes does run more of a pro-style offense than Jeff Levy does. But who's your top option?
Keysal.
You think Keysal should be promoted?
No, I didn't say. I never said that this list was who I wanted or who I thought. Mm-hmm. This is who I think is going to get it. I think it's going to be just a Keysal promotion and bring in 2 more coaches to do what, the receivers. And I think Will Friend is going to leave, so I think we're going to have to bring in another offensive line coach.
Bedell's probably going to get promoted from tight ends coach to O-line coach.
Okay, well, then we'll bring in the tight ends coach.
And the other option I had was Zach Hill, and that is another one where he just has connections to Harsin. He's had very, very good offenses in the past, and when he worked with Harsin, he worked great with him. And with Harsin as the OC. Sorry, I'm looking down. I'm reading all the stuff that I did research on. But he was the OC for Harsin for Kentucky just extended Mark Stoops, by the way. But he was the OC for Harsin in 2017 and 19 and co-OC in 16. Solid recruiter, but not the greatest track record as far as recruiting goes.
Yeah.
Only 2 years with a Power 5 program at Arizona State and only 16 games there. He had a great show in one game where he put up 70 on Arizona back in 2020. He's 32 points per game at Arizona State over the last 2 years. And his offense at Boise, 19, was 34 points a game, 19th in the country. 261 passing, 167 rushing. 35 points a game, 20 in the country, 292 passing, 167 rushing. And 18 and 32.5 points a game. 36th in the country, 262 passing yards, and 143 rushing yards per game, and all 10-plus win seasons. And you could tell the drop-off that Boise State team had when he left. So I think that would be one of the more likely of the 3. Probably the second most likely. Jeff Grimes is, honestly, it's a pipe dream, to be honest. He's the guy I want. I don't know if we're going to get him, though. Zach Hill would be great, and Eric Keysal I'd live with.
Yeah, whatever we get, we need recruiters.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in our recruiting update. It could be tomorrow, could be Friday, for all I know. It's going to be a crazy week right now with everything that's going on. But we had to pump this video out because there's no telling with how everything's going right now when we're going to hire this guy.
Yeah. I really don't know. Harson's a coach that kind of, from everything I've read and what I've seen, he walks his own path. He don't follow, anybody else's path. He goes his own way. He blazes his own trail.
Yeah, and he's talked about that with Paul Feinbaum. He's screw everybody's opinion. I mean, I'm going to do my job, and this is his job. His job is to hire the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
His job is to put together a good staff, and his job is to put together a good recruiting class and put a good product on the field. He has no control over how much money we spend, but to be honest, if I'm him, he's going to be a pretty highly touted coach after next season. If Auburn's not willing to put money into this football program, I would not blame him at all for leaving because, honestly, our boosters have failed us when it comes to that.
Yeah, we got to start spending money.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's what it boils down to. If you want to run with the big dogs, you got to spend with them.
And that doesn't necessarily mean you got to buy all this stuff. That doesn't mean that.
No,
Obviously,
it means like right now we're building a football only facility. That's number one. Updating other facilities like Jordan Hare Stadium is another one. Spending money on recruiting visits so that these coaches can go coast to coast and recruit.
Because I believe Harson's a very good coach, and I think he's great with the X's and O's, and I think he's great with the culture. But we got to spend money. And it's not like, because Texas spends bokos of money on the football facility. Obviously, you need a great coach. So it's all these things that factor together. Most important thing is coaching.
Yeah.
But you've got to spend money to make these kids want to come here.
Yeah.
If you don't spend the money to make these kids want to come here, then Coach Harson's not even going to be able to get in their ear. And but there's been lots of programs. Oklahoma wins last time they won a damn national championship. They spend tons of money.
Yeah, but they're
Texas,
in the fight every year.
Texas, not in the fight. Terrible this year. They spend tons of money, but I think Sark's just a garbage coach, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
you can recruit all you want to, but if you suck as a coach, it ain't going to matter.
That's right. But nobody knows where Harson's head is. I mean, we could be sitting here tomorrow, and he could hire an offensive coordinator that coached high school football.
Yeah, possibly.
We don't know.
That's where Houston Nutt went when he hired Gus Malzahn, coach offense with Derek McFadden back there at Arkansas. There's no telling where we're going to go. Nobody really predicted Mike Bobo last year to be hired. I mean, Derek Mason we wanted, but Mike Bobo, I didn't even think about it, to be honest. But so this is a fun video to make. It's a fun video to do.
Yeah.
But there's honestly this video doesn't even really matter at the
It
end
really
of the day.
don't.
But
like I said,
we can only hope.
Yeah, but just for a minute, let me turn left here. It don't matter who gets hired. He could be the best offensive coordinator. He could be the worst offensive coordinator. It don't matter. What needs to happen is Auburn has got to start spending money.
Yeah, and it looks like they're starting to finally do that.
They got to start spending money in facilities. They got to start spending money on recruiting. We're taking recruiting visits. I mean, the boosters, the alum, the front office, whoever you want to say, they got to spend money. If you're going to compete with the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Georgias, the Oklahomas of the world, you got to spend with them. And what these people got to understand is you're not spending money on a building. You're not spending money on a trip to go recruit them. You're buying wins. That's what you got to look at it as buying wins.
Yeah.
And nobody buys more wins than Alabama because nobody is willing to spend money with Alabama. Yep. Yeah, it looks like Georgia's the best team in the country this year, but okay, they're going to be hot, stinky shit next year.
Possibly, yeah. Georgia's done the same thing as Alabama. They are like second in the country in spending money on recruiting.
Yeah.
And now with Brian Kelly at LSU, they spend a ton of money on recruiting. And now with Brian Kelly, this is where Auburn's going to have to buckle up. Otherwise, we're going to be a middle of the road in a SEC team.
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter who he hires. It don't matter who we hire as head coach. If the athletic department, the president, if they're not going to sink money into the program, we will not be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot get the recruits. Because the recruits want facilities that look like Alabama's, Oklahoma's, Oregon's, Georgia's. And we're not there.
Nope.
And we will be middling of the pack always.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry I went off on that rant, but that's where we stand. You got to spend money to win big.
Yep. And that's right. That this video, you know, we had one great year with Chip Lindsey. The next year we didn't do too well.
No, we didn't.
Because all our 5 stars left. And we were left with Jartarvius Whitlow, who was a 3-star athlete. And we were left with, because when we got Kerryon Johnson, it was kind of like a super big deal because he wasn't a guy we were expecting to get because those aren't the kind of guys we usually get. But
y'all like my hat? I got it. I got it today. War Damn Eagle.
War Eagle. Selena, go!
Oh.
Stop!